Dear students, very good morning to you all, ma. So I hope that you are staying very well at home. Okay, ma. So in the last class I have taught you how we have to calculate the effective nuclear charge, isn't it? So for that we have seen so many examples also. Today I am going to continue. That means the third lesson, periodic classification of elements. And today's topic is ionic grading. Okay, what is meant by ions first of all? So an atom after loss or after it gains electron, it becomes an ion, isn't it? For example, if you consider sodium, so atomic number is 11. It has its electronic configuration as 2, 8, 1, isn't it? That one. So this is the outermost shell which contains one electron, isn't it? Therefore, to attain stability, the sodium atom has to lose this electron. Therefore, it forms Na+. So now it becomes 2, 8. So this becomes the outermost shell. So this is considered sodium atom and this is called as sodium ion. If an atom lost electron means it becomes positive ion, which we call it as cation. So after the loss or gain of electrons, an atom attains its inert gas configuration. That means stable electronic configuration, either by gaining or losing of electrons, means which we call that as ions. Okay, for these ions only, either positive ion or negative ion. If it is a positive ion means we call it as cation. If it is negative ion means which we call that as anion. So how we have to calculate the ionic grading? Dear students, already you know how we have to calculate the covalent grading as well as the metallic grading. Okay, ma? As like that, today we are going to calculate the ionic grading. Okay, ma? So first of all, what is meant by ionic grading? What is meant by ionic grading? It is defined as the distance between the center of nucleus of the ion. Center of nucleus of the ion up to which it exerts its influence on the electron cloud of the ion. The electron cloud of the ion. As simply we can say it as which ionic grading is defined as the distance between the center of nucleus of the ion to the electrons which is present in the valence shell. So yeah, for example, if we consider ion means, for example, sodium ion Na+. So here 2, 8. So this is the nucleus. So here it contains electron and here it contains 8 electron. Now the distance between the center of nucleus and the electrons, the valence shell of an ion is called as ionic grading. Is called as ionic grading. Therefore, this is the ionic grading of Na+ ion. Where R indicates the radius of an ion. Here Na+ means which we call that as radius of an sodium ion. Okay. Now let us see how we have to calculate the radius of either cation or anion. Okay. The radius of anion or cation can be calculated by using today. That means we are going to follow Pauling's method to calculate the ionic grading of univalent crystal. Univalent crystal means let us consider sodium chloride, which consists of Na+ and Cl-. And we know that. So how this ionic bond is formed? Actually, how is ionic crystals are formed? By the transfer electrons. Already I told, isn't it? How ionic crystals are formed. Ionic bond is formed. So here Cl Na+ I have taken. If I take Cl- means for that chlorine, the atomic number is 17, ma. How can we write it? 2, 8, 7. Therefore, to attain stability, it has to gain 1 electron. Chlorine has to gain 1 electron. But what happens now? So here I told, isn't it? First I have written sodium ion. Sodium atom 2, 8, 1. So after this loss of electron, it attains 2, 8, which attains inert gas configuration. So now what happens is chlorine, when it combines with this sodium, here sodium losing this electron it gained by this chlorine and forms Cl-. Therefore now it forms 2, 8, 8. Here also it attains 8 electrons in the valence shell. Therefore it attains inert gas configuration. So actually, when an atom loss or gain electrons, it attains another inert gas configuration. Now what happens here? This Na+ combines with Cl- due to some electrostatic force of attraction and forms Na+ combines with Cl- due to some electrostatic force of attraction and forms sodium chloride molecule. And forms sodium chloride molecule. A transfer of electrons from one atom to another atom is called as ionic crystals or ionic bonds. Okay, ionic molecules. அப்போ ionic grade ionic அப்படினாலே you have to consider which is made up of ions. So how these ions are formed? By transfer of electrons from one atom to another atom. Okay. So by the help of Pauling's method, today we are going to calculate. That means how we have to calculate the ionic radius of cation as well as the anion. The radius of cation as well as the anion. Okay. First of all, Pauling's. He is assuming that. Okay. Pauling assumed that the ions present in the crystal lattice. Crystal means in which, that means the lattice point in which crystal means the whole crystal in which consists of lattice points which is made up of both positive ions as well as negative ions, anions as well as cations. Okay, ma. The ions present in a crystals are perfect space and they are in contact with each other. Contact with each other means some force of attraction. They are combined with one another to form the crystal, to form the whole crystal. Okay, so actually we know that already I told you. If you consider the covalent radius means, can you remember how we had to calculate the radius of covalent molecules? The interatomic distance between the two atoms in a crystal is equal to the radius of two atoms, isn't it? In this way we have calculated. As like that, he is also saying that the interatomic distance, which is denoted by the letter D, the interatomic distance. Okay, the interatomic distance between the cation and anion in a crystal. D is called as interatomic distance. Interatomic distance between the two ions, anions as well as cation, is equal to the radius of cation plus the radius of anion. Okay, according to Pauling's method, the interatomic distance between the cation and anion is equal to, so see here we have to indicate plus and minus, so that we have written only simple D, is equal to the sum of the radius of cation as well as the radius of anion. Okay, this is the first point. Okay, ma. The next one. So now that is the distance between the center of nucleus between the radius of cation and anion. So RC plus is considered with radius of cation and or A minus, which is considered as the radius of anion. Pauling also assumed that the radius of ions having the electronic configuration of inert gases is inversely proportional to the effective nuclear charge. Is inversely proportional to the effective nuclear charge. That means the radius of cation or the radius of anion is inversely proportional to the effective nuclear charge. Is inversely proportional to the effective nuclear charge of cation. Here the radius of anion is inversely proportional to the effective nuclear charge of anion. So first assumption, both ions are held together by some force of attraction. Second assumption, that the radius of cation is inversely proportional to the effective nuclear charge of cation, and the radius of anion is also inversely proportional to the effective nuclear charge of anion. So let us consider this equation as 1, this as 2 and this as 3. Now let us divide. Okay, now let us divide these two equations. The radius of cation divided by radius of anion equal to, so if you write means, that means 1 by effective nuclear charge of C plus divided by 1 by effective nuclear charge of A minus. Okay, radius of cation divided by radius of anion equal to effective nuclear charge of anion divided by effective nuclear charge of cation. Okay, so if we know the effective nuclear charge of cation as well as anion, means by the help of that we can calculate the radius of cation as well as the radius of anion. So already I taught you how you have to calculate the effective nuclear charge, isn't it? So the effective nuclear charge is calculated by using the formula Z minus S, isn't it? So this is the effective nuclear charge, where Z is the atomic number and S is the screening constant or shielding constant. Okay, so after calculating the effective nuclear charge of cations and anions, while we are substituting this, we can calculate the radius of cation as well as the radius of anion by combining these equations if we know the interionic distance between the radius of anion as well as the cation. So let us calculate the radius of cation as well as the radius of anion by considering one example. Okay, ma? Okay, ma? So let us consider this example, how we have to calculate the ionic radii of cations as well as anions. Okay, so let us see the question first of all. Calculate the ionic radii of radii of Na plus and F minus in sodium fluoride crystal whose interatomic distance is equal to 231 picometer. Yes, dear students, so you have to calculate the radius of Na plus ion, that means cation, as well as the radius of F minus ion, anion in sodium fluoride crystal. Okay. So what I mean by this interionic distance, which is equal to D. Already we know that according to Pauling's method, to calculate ionic radii, the interatomic distance between the two ions, the cations and anions, is equal to the radius of cation and radius of anion. Okay. So the interatomic distance according for sodium fluoride crystal is given as 231 picometer. Let us write here as 231 picometer equal to here cation is considered as NaF of radius of Na plus radius of F minus. Okay. Appo the radius of Na plus and radius of F minus in sodium fluoride crystal is equal to the interatomic distance between these two is equal to 231 picometer. Okay. We know that the radius of Na plus is inversely proportional to effective nuclear charge of Na plus. As like that, the radius of F minus is inversely proportional to the effective nuclear charge of fluoride ion. So, by taking or dividing these two equations, we are getting ratio of these two equations. We are getting radius of Na plus by radius of F minus is equal to effective nuclear charge of fluoride ion divided by effective nuclear charge of Na plus, isn't it, ma? So first to calculate radius of Na plus and radius of F minus, if we have to, you should calculate the effective nuclear charge of Na plus as well as the effective nuclear charge of Na plus and F minus. Do you know how we have to calculate the effective nuclear charge? Okay, first let us calculate the effective nuclear charge of fluorine. Okay, ma, fluoride ion. So for fluorine, the atomic number is 9. Isn't it, ma? Fluorine, the atomic number is 9 equal to which contains 9 electrons. But we are going to calculate the effective nuclear charge for fluoride ion. Therefore, here it contains negative charge. That means it's a unit negative. That means which contains 1. It has gained only 1 electron. Up here 9 electron means in F minus 9 plus 1. Students, keep in your mind, if it gains electron means, so to the total number of electrons, you have to add one more electron. Up 9 plus 1 equal to 10 electrons. Now you have to calculate the effective nuclear charge only for this 10 electrons. Can you remember the steps to how we have to calculate the effective nuclear charge? First we have to write the electronic configuration for this 10 electrons, isn't it? But how can we write 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, isn't it, ma? Then we have to group, isn't it? If we group 1s, 2, then we have to group these as 2s, 2p. So totally 2 plus 6, 8 electrons. So now we have to consider this is a nth shell and this is n minus 1 shell, isn't it, ma'am? So nth shell, if you are going to calculate the effective nuclear charge for 1 electron means, so total here it contains 8 electrons. Up n into, can you remind that? So the n number of electrons mining into 0.35. You leave 1 electron. Therefore, out of 1 electron, here it contains 7 electrons. Up to 7 into 0.35. 7 into 0.35 plus. For n minus 1, here it contains 2 electrons. So, we will be putting it up. N minus 1 should multiply by 0.85. Okay. So, up to 2.85 means 1.70 plus. Okay. 35, 3. Up to 2.45. Okay. So, while we are adding these two, we are getting 4.15, which is equal to 4.15. This is the S value, isn't it? This is the S value. How we had to calculate the effective nuclear charge? Was that effective nuclear charge equal to Z minus S. So, what's the atomic number for fluorine? 9. Keep it in mind. Here only you have to calculate for 10 electrons, but the atomic number remains the same. Atomic number for fluorine 9. 9 minus 4.15, which is equal to around 4.85. Is it correct? Okay. 4.85. So this is the effective nuclear charge for fluoride ion. This is the effective nuclear charge for F minus. Okay. Now let us again calculate the effective nuclear charge for Na plus. Let me calculate here. Okay. Let me calculate. So the effective nuclear charge for Na plus. So for sodium, the atomic number is 11. Isn't it, ma? Therefore it contains 11 electrons. Atomic number is 11 means 11 electrons. But we are going to calculate the effective nuclear charge for Na plus ion. Up Na plus means, so it has class 1 electron. It has class 1 electron. Up 11 here only unipositive ion carries only one positive charge. Up 11 minus 1 10. Therefore we have to calculate the effective nuclear charge only for 10 electrons. Isn't it, ma? Right. 10 electrons means these are here also calculated for 10 electrons. Therefore both remains the same then. Isn't it? Okay, whatever it may be, write the electronic configuration 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, then group it 1s2, 2s, 2p, 8. So this is the nth shell, n minus 1. Actually both remains the same, isn't it? So here 8 electrons. If you have to calculate the effective nuclear charge for 1 electron means remaining 7. Above 7 into nth shell should be multiplied by 0.35 plus n minus 1 contains 2 electrons. And n minus 1 shall be multiplied by 2.85. So the answer remains the same. I am simply writing the answer here as 4.15. So now Z effective nuclear charge of Na plus equal to, what's the atomic number for sodium? 11. Up 11 minus 4.15, which is equal to 6.85. Is it? Isn't it? 11 minus 4.15. Okay, 6.85. Okay, now let us substitute this in this formula. The radius of Na plus is that means radius of Na plus by radius of F minus equal to effective nuclear charge F minus by Na plus. So while we are substituting these two, okay, I'll rub it here and write that. Okay. Okay, listen ma. Upon radius of Na plus by radius of F minus equal to, what's the effective nuclear charge per F minus? We have calculated 4.85 here, which is that means the effective nuclear charge of Na plus is calculated as 6.85. So while dividing these two, 4.85 divided by 6.85, we are getting, okay, while dividing these two, we are getting a 0.71. Divide these two, while we are simplifying this, we are getting a 0.71. Okay, now the radius of Na plus, the radius of F minus equal to 0.71. Actually, now we have to substitute here, isn't it? Substitute here to calculate the radius of Na plus and F minus. But both, if we know either radius of Na plus or F minus means by substituting this we can calculate. Here these two are unknown. Up let us consider now radius of Na plus equal to 0.71 into radius of F minus. Okay. Now let us consider this equation. 231 picometer equal to, instead of Na plus, let us write it here as 0.71 radius of F minus. Okay, students. So instead of, since these two are unknown, we are considering the radius of Na plus equal to 0.7. Take this here, this in denominator. If you take it here means it becomes in numerator. Up instead of Ra plus, we can write it here as 0.71 or radius of fluoride plus Rf minus radius of, sorry, Rf minus radius of fluoride ion. Okay, ma'am. Up now. So 231 picometer equal to, so here 1, here 0.71. That means if we take radius of fluoride common means 1 plus 0.7, therefore it is equal to 1.71 radius of fluoride ion. Radius of fluoride ion. Okay. Okay, ma'am. So now radius of fluoride ion equal to 231 picometer divided by 1.71. 231 divided by 1.71, which we are getting as 135.1 picometer. 135.1 picometer. So this is the radius of fluoride ion. Radius one, now we have calculated the radius of fluoride ion. Isn't it, ma'am? So if you know the radius of fluoride ion means, so if you substitute the values of fluoride ion here means, by the help of that we can calculate the radius of Na plus. How we can calculate radius of Na plus here now? 231 picometer equal to radius of Na plus here we have calculated the radius of fluoride ion as 235.1 picometer plus 135.1 picometer. So therefore radius of Na plus equal to 231 minus 135.1. 231 minus 135.1. Let us subtract this. Okay. Okay, ma. So which is calculated as 95.9 picometer. 95.9 picometer. So this is the radius of Na plus. So in this way only, these steps should be followed to calculate the radius of either cations and anions. So if we know the intrinsic distance between the two ions means, by the help of that we can calculate the radius of cations as well as the radius of anion. So in this way you have to calculate the radius of cations and anions. So let us see here, 231 picometer is equal to, now the radius of Na plus is equal to 95.90 as well as radius of fluoride ion equal to 135. If you substitute the values means we are getting 231 picometer, isn't it, ma? That means the radius of Na plus which is equal to 95.90. This is the radius of Na plus plus the radius of fluoride ion is equal to 135.1. So this is the radius of fluoride. So while we are adding, we are getting this sometimes. Okay, so this is interatomic stress. Sometimes they will give the interatomic distance between the two ions and radius of any one. This means by the help of that may ask to find either the radius of anion or cation means just simply use this formula. The radius, the intrinsic distance is equal to radius of cation and radius of anion, and then you calculate the unknown value. Okay, ma. Let us see the next one now.
Stop பண்ணிட்டேன். நிறைய மினிட்ஸ் ஓடல. ஸ்டாப் பண்ணிட்டேன்.
Okay, ma. So the book part, one more example is given for you and you are asked to calculate the radius of K plus and Cl minus, okay, by using Pauling's method. So what's the question? By using Pauling's method, calculate the ionic radii of K plus and Cl minus in potassium chloride crystal. Potassium chloride crystal, and the interatomic distance between these is given as 3.14 Armstrong units. Okay, now let us proceed the same steps in which we have used to calculate the radius of Na plus and F minus. Okay, so what's the first step, ma'am? We know that the interatomic distance between the potassium K plus and Cl minus ion crystal is equal to the radius of K plus radius of Cl minus ion. Radius of K plus radius of Cl minus ion. Okay, now what's the value given here? It is equal to the interatomic distance between these two ions is given as 3.14 Armstrong units. So here it is given Armstrong units, which is equal to radius of K plus radius of Cl minus. So what's the second step? We know that the radius of K plus ion is inversely proportional to the effective nuclear charge. It is inversely proportional to the effective nuclear charge of K plus. At the same time, radius of Cl minus ion is also inversely proportional to the effective nuclear charge of Cl minus ion. Therefore, by weighing these two equations, we are getting the radius of K plus by radius of Cl minus is equal to effective nuclear charge of Cl minus ion divided by effective nuclear charge of K plus ion. Isn't it, ma'am? So to calculate radius of K plus as well as radius of Cl minus, first we have to calculate the effective nuclear charge of Cl minus as well as K plus. So how we have to calculate the effective nuclear charge? Okay, first let us calculate the effective nuclear charge of K plus ion. Sorry, effective nuclear charge of K plus. Okay, how we have to calculate the effective nuclear charge of K plus, which is equal to Z minus S. The atomic number for potassium is 19 minus F. Therefore, now we have to calculate the screening constant. Okay. So for effective nuclear charge of K plus, K potassium atomic number 19, therefore contains 19 electrons. Here we are going to calculate for K plus ion only. That means it has close 1 electron. Around 19 minus 1 equal to 18. Therefore, we have to calculate the effective nuclear charge only for these 18 electrons. Okay, ma? First let us write the electronic configuration for that. Okay, how we have to write 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6. Okay, let us count it now. 10, 12, 18. The next we group together. How we have to group it? S and p orbitals together. Okay, 1s, 2, then 2s, 2p. So totally 2 plus 6, 8 electrons, and then 3s, 3p. Here also it contains 8 electrons. Now, so this is the nth shell. Here n minus 1 shell, and here n minus 2. So we are going to calculate the effective nuclear charge for here only. The nth shell should be multiplied by 0.35. Number of electrons 8 if you subtract 1 means 7. 7 into 0.35 plus here also here it contains 8 electrons. N minus 1 number of electrons into the screening effect. That means if screening effect 0.85 units. 8 into 0.85. Then plus n minus 2 and innermost shells. The effective nuclear charge per unit. 1. Total number of electrons 2. Therefore 2 into 1. So while we are adding all these, we are getting that. So this is actually electronic configuration. Now we are going to calculate the screening constant for all these. Yes, S equal to here 2 plus 8 into 0.85 40 plus 8 is 64, 68 6.80 plus 7 into 5 35 21 23 24 2.45. Okay, so now let us add all these together. So while we are adding all this together, we are getting 6.8 to 2.45 5 to 11, which is equal to 11.25, which is equal to 11.25. What's the formula? Therefore, effective nuclear charge of K plus equal to atomic number 19 minus 11.25, which is equal to 19 minus 11.25 na? It is equal to 7.75. It is equal to 7.75. So as like this, we have to calculate the effective nuclear charge for Cl minus. What is the formula? Z minus S, isn't it? What is the atomic number for chlorine? 17 minus S. Okay. So now let us calculate the screening constant for chloride ion Cl minus. Okay. First let us consider out. For chlorine, the atomic number is 17, therefore it contains 17 electrons. So now here we are going to calculate only for Cl minus ion. Cl minus ion means it has gained 1 electron. For Cl minus 17 plus 1, which is equal to 18 electrons. So now we have to calculate the effective nuclear charge for 18 electrons. So this remains the same then. So as like this one, isn't it? So here also K plus for 18 electrons, we have calculated the screening constant. For 18 electrons, the value is equal to 11. The same procedure you had to follow. So already I have discussed more times. I am simply writing the for 18 electrons, the screening effect is going to be 11.25. It is equal to 11.25. Now radius of effective nuclear charge for Cl minus, which is equal to atomic number 17 minus 17 minus 11.25, which is equal to 17 17 which is equal to 5.75, which is equal to 5.75. So now let me know that. So now we have calculate the effective nuclear charge of both Cl minus as well as K plus. We have calculate the effective nuclear charge for. So let us consider these steps now when substitute the values of effective nuclear charge of Cl minus as well as K plus. Okay, ma. Therefore, the radius of K plus by radius of Cl minus ion, which is equal to what's the effective nuclear charge for chlorine? 5.75 divided by for K plus, which is equal to the effective nuclear charge for K plus is equal to 7.75. So radius of K plus by radius of Cl minus. So here we have substituted, okay, we have substituted the values of these two. So while we are dividing these two values, we are getting as 0.74, okay. So how we had to now, we had to substitute in this value, isn't it? We have to substitute here, but we don't know the radius of both K plus as well as Cl minus. So what we had to do, we had to write it as like this. The radius of K plus equal to 0.74 radius of Cl minus. So if you substitute it here means, that means 3.14 Armstrong equal to radius of K plus radius of Cl minus. So instead of writing radius of K plus, we can write here as, instead of writing radius of K plus, here we have found it as 0.74 into radius of Cl minus. So let us, instead of writing K plus, let us substitute these values, 0.74 into radius of Cl minus plus radius of Cl minus, which is equal to 3.14, isn't it? Up now, while we are adding these, we are getting as another part 1.74, isn't it? 1.74 into Cl minus, okay. So it is equal to 3.14. Therefore radius of Cl minus equal to 3.14 divided by 1.74 divided. Have you all understood all these steps, ma? Radius of cation and radius of anion. So instead of K plus, we have substituted these values. While we are adding these two, we are getting as 1.74 into radius of Cl minus. Therefore, to calculate radius of Cl minus, keep it as here and bring this 1.74 here. Therefore, radius of Cl minus equal to 3.14 divided by 1.74. Okay, ma. So while writing these two, we are getting the answer as 0.181 Armstrong units. Okay, radius of Cl minus equal to 0.181 Armstrong units. Now we can calculate the radius of K plus. Either we can substitute here also. Radius of K plus equals 0.74 into 1.81 Armstrong potential. Unless we can substitute here itself. 3.14 equal to radius of K plus 1.81 Armstrong units. Okay. About radius of K plus equal to 3.14 minus 1.81 Armstrong. Here also Armstrong units, which is equal to. So while we are subtracting 3.14 minus 1.81, we are getting as 1.33 Armstrong units. Okay. So now the radius of K plus equal to 1.33 Armstrong units and radius of Cl minus equal to 1.81 Armstrong units. Okay, ma. So now we have calculated radius of K plus as radius of K plus as another 1.33 Armstrong units and radius of Cl minus as 1.81 Armstrong units. Okay. The radius of K plus equal to 1.33 Armstrong units and radius of Cl minus equal to 1.81 Armstrong units. Okay. By using all these steps, we have calculated now. Okay, dear students. So today I taught you how you had to calculate the ionic radius by using Pauling's method. Okay, ma. So you can do some more examples. Okay. So short answer pathona, what is meant by ionic radius and how you have to calculate the ionic radius by using Pauling's method. So to calculate the ionic radius, that means radius of either cation or radius of anion, first you should be thorough in calculating the effective nuclear charge. So be thorough in calculating effective nuclear charge. Since if you know that calculation, how to calculate the effective nuclear charge when it means you can calculate it is of either cation or anion. Okay, ma? Thank you. Have a nice day. Let it see in the next video.